Sentimental Values 2025. This is a drama about two sisters. It's a Norwegian film and it's pretty long. It's 135 minutes running time. I saw it in the cinema earlier today, and the length of it is the most difficult thing about it, especially since it's in different languages, mainly in Norwegian. So there are subtitles, and I managed to keep following them carefully, but I worry about the distracting thoughts I sometimes get and around missing stuff, and it's a bit harder to follow the acting, keeping everything together. So it takes a bit more concentration, but I still prefer seeing it in the cinema, to streaming. And streaming, it would take longer to watch them because I'd be going back, um, to check things, and that makes it more difficult overall. Um, how um The start of the film, there's one scene which, I think there's, like, Nora and Agnes, and, um, there's a sort of narrative about the house that they lived in when they were growing up, and, an essay, one of the girls, can't remember which one, wrote about, I think it's Nora. Um, she writes an essay about imagining herself to be an object, and that object being their house, and all the weight, rushing up and down the stairs. You get that strong feeling, which I loved. And the noise and the quiet, those are the main things. And then she realizes later that by noise she means arguments between her mum and her dad, so Sissel and Gustav. And we then come to sort of the present day, and Sissel has died, and there's a memorial or wake or something. And Nora's with her uh, nibbling nephew, Eric. That's his name. He's a young lad, and, he gets on well with his aunt, Nora, um, and she shows him the, stove and said that when they were kids in that house, they would listen into the conversations because the stove, acted like a microphone from another room, and then she's explaining to Eric, she hears her father, who she doesn't think will be at this event, so she rushes down to see him. She doesn't get on that well with him. He's a film director, and, um, they definitely have a troubled relationship, and Agnes gets on better with her father, but still it's fraught. There's this kind of difficulty about communications, and Gustav having often had a troublesome relationship with drinking and not being there. And so the girls, and then, well, the young women now feel some resentment, and especially Nora. And another thing with Nora, again, very early on in the film, it's kind of like an opening shot, is that she has developed as an actor, and she's on the stage, but she's preparing to go on the stage in front of a large audience, thousands, well, hundreds, certainly many hundreds, probably over thousands watching. And she's got stage fright, and she won't come out of her dressing room and the production team trying to persuade her, and it really impressed upon me how difficult it is to be an actor, especially for a live performance. You've got to always deliver night after night. And it's just the way it's shown, it's like the cokes are out, and then she says, "Oh, I'm gonna get some water. I need some water." And there's water downstairs, and they don't want her to don't want to let her out of their clutches once she's opened the door. And that whole thing, wow. Um, but there's also her father won't watch the performances, and there's all these excuses. So there's all various things going on, and a lot of resentment by Nora towards her father. And then her father, at this memorial event, asks Nora, can we meet separately in a cafe restaurant somewhere? Oh gosh, there's this moment where when the waiting staff say, um, would you like to order? He says, oh, they think we're a couple. And it's just like, what a thing to say. I mean, it's obviously a massive age gap. Oh, so there's a whole pile of things. The sort of things, I mean, um, Stellan Skarsgård, he plays Gustav brilliantly, but the sort of reconstructed stuff that he comes out with. I mean, he's a good film director, but he's now struggling because can't get financing. But he's got this project where he wants to um, cover the life of his mother, Karin, who lived in occupied Norway, and when so there's a whole situation with um, Nazis. There's one or two scenes we just suddenly go into these scenes, and you just think the terror of being chased, trying to get on a train, that sort of stuff. And that's where I get distracted because I start thinking about what's happening, of all the kind of things in the modern world as well. And then I'm thinking, no, got to really concentrate on this storyline because it flips back, of course, then to carry on the main timeline. But um, there's some really poignant scenes, some teaser scenes. There's generational, the passing down of trauma from one generation to the next, um, and the realization, sympathetic realization of those type of situations. And there's there's a, there's a teaser there's one teaser early on about an IKEA stool. Um, I mean, it's funny, it's not funny. It's just like, oh my gosh. But um, it's when Gustav has hired, um, there's Rachel Kemp, who's like an established actor, played by Elle Fanning. Um, and this is how Gustav gets funding because Elle's a big star. She's happy to go for this role. And I won't explain too much about it, but it's really interesting seeing Elle um, playing Rachel Kemp get into the get into the role, and it's like, wow. Um, it's just the way the film process, the way acting works, I admire a lot. So there's um, there's a lot about this film that I really thought. I mean, it's brilliant. I really loved it, and it's like mainly really serious and very poignant at times. Um, but um, the sisters' relationship, that's what really got me in the feels. I really, really felt it. Especially, I guess, because I'm thinking about my late sister and how we grew up, and our differences and our similarities, but the differences. And there's a question that Nora asked Agnes um, about how she didn't get so messed up by the sort of controlling aspects of the parental styles of, like, again, I won't go any further into it, but I will say that Nora's played by Renata Reines. Um, there's, yeah, Rainsy. Um, yeah, oh gosh, Rainsphere, Rainsphere. Um, and that, um, sh she's quite, amazing, and so's, Agnes is right, the sister. I felt they were brilliant, along with, Stellan Skarsgård. I thought, "Wow, what a dynamite film." It's gonna get another really high mark from me. 9.25 out of 10. It's just like, it got me pretty well in tears. Some of what happens really hit me. But also, I mean, it's a kind of film I really want to see again at some point. And it didn't seem to have much of many screenings. So I had to, it was a very specific time to see the film. But I'm so glad I saw it. Um, 9.25 out of 10. Love to know what you think. If you've seen it, please leave comments. Um, Thanks for watching. Thanks if you subscribe. Please hit the notification button. And sort of the films that I'm thinking about that really, one is, say, the um, films like yeah, no, I can't remember it, but I'll put a link into the I think the war films I've seen, and also um, it's very. In, I think it's very hard to compare this with other films, but I will leave a link to something for you to watch next. But thanks for watching this, and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.